Lithuania, Klaus Johannis, and the President of the Republic of Poland, Andrzej Duda. Welcome to the official handover ceremony of the host of the Three Seas Initiative. I invite the President of the Republic of Bulgaria, Mr. Rumen Radev, for his statement and handover of the flag and the host.
Please be seated. Уважаеми колеги, уважаеми представители на медиите, вярвам, че ще се съгласите с мен, че за изминалите 2 дни проведохме важни срещи и дискусии, а също така постигнахме и важни споразумения. Днес, по време на 6-та среща на върха в София на инициативата Три морета, приехме съвместната декларация на държавните ръководители. Тя е израз на нашата обща политическа воля да работим за ускореното развитие на нашия регион чрез подобрена транспортна, енергийна и инфраструктурна свързаност, чрез стимулиране на публично-частните партньорства, чрез въвеждане на нови иновативни модели за развитие. На срещата взеха участие повече от 10 държавни глави, правителствени ръководители и министри на държавите членки и на нашите стратегически партньори – Съединените американски щати, Германия и Европейската комисия. Взеха участие близо 400 фирми. Това е наистина неимоверен успех за форум като този и следва да откроим и участието на водещи технологични гиганти като Амазон, като Google, да откроим и тяхното повишено внимание към нашия регион. За първи път на такъв форум участва управляващият директор на Международният валутен фонд, а също така и представители на страни от Тихоокеански регион, от Средния изток, от Западна Европа. А това е атестат, че инициативата Три морета става все по-разпознаваема не само в регионален, но мога да твърдя и в глобален план. Постигна се съгласие за споразумение между агенциите за насърчаване на инвестициите от нашите страни. Задълбочено бе партньорството между индустриалните камари на страните, което започна още през 2018 година в Букурещ. Нещо, което особено ме радва като българско предложение, това е сключеното споразумение за партньорство и изграждане на партньорска мрежа между агенциите за иновации на нашата страна. Това е ясно доказателство, че усилията, които полагаме да работим в перспективни области заедно, вече дават резултат. България пое домакинството на инициативата Три морета в един важен етап за нея, когато се стремим да ускорим прехода от политическо говорене към практически действия и реални резултати. Фондът на инициативата е един уникален инструмент, създаден да стимулира публично-частните партньорства, да изгражда отношения между държавни агенции, политическо ръководство на дадена страна, международни институции, търговски камари, банки за развитие и, разбира се, бизнеса вече работи. И днес отчетохме, че само в рамките на последните няколко месеца ние вече сме свидетели на първите 3 инвестиции. Всяка една в решаващите 3 области – транспорт, енергетика и дигитализация. И аз се надявам, че това ускорение и тази динамика ще продължат и за бъдеще. Разбира се, засегнахме и важни теми, които касаят механизмите за усъвършенстване на нашата работа по отношение на координация, на взаимодействие, на начин на вземане на решение вътре в инициативата, на начин на отношение с нашите стратегически партньори, как по-добре да използваме всички европейски финансови инструменти, как по-добре да развиваме нашето сътрудничество с стратегическите ни партньори и с държави извън обхвата на инициативата, как по-добре да работим с международни финансови институции. В заключение мога да споделя, че срещата на върха в София е ясно доказателство, че в резултат на нашата обща политическа воля, на подобрена координация, на усърдна работа, инициативата се развива с бързи темпове, имаме вече реални практически резултати и става все по-привлекателна не само в регионален, но и в глобален план. Dear Honorable President of Latvia, dear Egils, at the very end of the Sofia Summit, I am greatly honored and pleased to hand in the 3Cs Initiative flag to you. We welcome the Latvia's commitment to hand over the presidency and to be the next host of the initiative. We strongly believe that our Latvian friends will be a lot able to build on initiatives' accomplishments so far. We sincerely wish you health, a lot of energy, and strong will to face all the multiple tasks and challenges, to seize every opportunity and to take advantage of them. Based on our recent decision about the new form of cooperation and managing the initiative, I would like to assure you that my team and Bulgaria will continue supporting you for seamless transition and implementation of our common goals and vision. It is now my honor to hand in the flag to you.
Invite now the President of the Republic of Latvia, Egils Levits, for his statement.
Thank you, dear Rumen, the President of Bulgaria. Thank you for organizing of this excellent summit with very interesting and forwards-oriented discussions, and with the excellent organization of this big event in Sofia. And we all are very pleased to be these 2 last days in Sofia and to enjoy your leadership here in this summit and to discuss common interests. A region is first of all an idea of political idea, social idea, and also economical idea. So geographically, we are always here, but as an idea, as a 3Cs initiative, as is a political initiative, it is only since 6 years, and thank the initiative of our Polish colleague, which started this initiative. So it's a big challenge to host the next summit in Riga. Latvia is a very innovative country, and we are looking forward to introduce new technologies, also new legal experiments, for example, in order to support initiatives, economic initiatives, but also technological initiatives. I think we will build on the 6 summits before, last here in Sofia and before also in Bucharest. Our president of Romania is also here and starting with Poland, so that we will go a big step forward. And again, many thanks to Bulgaria, to President Radev, to all organizers and to all participants here in the summit, and I am going home with a lot of interesting new ideas, and we will explore them in Riga next year. Thank you.
Thank you very much, President Levits. May I now invite the President of Romania, Klaus Iohannis, for his statement.
Președinte Radev, domnilor președinți, doamnelor și domnilor, am fost onorat să particip la cel de-al 6-lea summit al inițiativei celor 3 mări. După ediția de anul trecut, în format predominant virtual din Estonia, astăzi am revenit la formatul clasic al summitului, inclusiv în ce privește organizarea forumului de afaceri al inițiativei. Doresc să mulțumesc domnului președinte Radev pentru succesul acestui eveniment, pe care îl apreciez și din perspectiva readucerii în acest an în zona Mării Negre a centrului decizional privind acțiunile inițiativei, după summitul și forumul de afaceri pe care le-am găzduit în România în 2018. Întâlnirea la înalt nivel de astăzi a confirmat importanța în creștere a cooperării în acest format, care sprijină dezvoltarea economică a regiunii Europei Centrale și de Sud-Est, sporind convergența și coeziunea europene și întărind relațiile transatlantice. Instrumentele de care dispune în prezent inițiativa, la a căror creare România și-a adus o contribuție semnificativă prin summitul de la București, precum lista de proiecte prioritare de interconectare, fondul de investiții și forumul de afaceri, dar și rețeaua camerelor de comerț din regiune, toate acestea încep să producă efecte. În cadrul intervenției de astăzi am arătat totodată că dezvoltarea unui nivel parlamentar și a unui nivel local și regional al inițiativei, care completează dimensiunea interguvernamentală acesteia, este salutară. Obiectivul final al tuturor acestor eforturi rămâne însă implementarea riguroasă a proiectelor strategice prioritare de interconectare ale inițiativei în cele 3 domenii de bază: transport, energie și digital. Am arătat astfel că există un nivel ridicat de așteptare din partea cetățenilor noștri, căruia activitățile din cadrul inițiativei trebuie să-i răspundă adecvat în perioada următoare. În contextul descris, am reafirmat atenția specială pe care țara noastră o acordă proiectelor Rail to Sea și Via Carpatia, ca inițiative concrete de o importanță economică majoră și cu valoare strategică adevărată pentru regiune. Valoarea adăugată a inițiativei rezidă și în capacitatea de sprijinire a eforturilor comune de construire a rezilienței strategice, asigurând interconectivitatea îmbunătățită, economii mai puternice și perspectivele unei dezvoltări durabile și inteligente. Din această perspectivă, am folosit prilejul de astăzi pentru a informa cu privire la inaugurarea în România, la 31 mai, a Centrului Euro-Atlantic pentru Reziliență, ca inițiativă a țării noastre, care contribuie la realizarea obiectivului cheie al construirii rezilienței. Pe acest fond, nu este surprinzător interesul crescut pentru activitățile inițiativei din partea unui număr din ce în ce mai mare de state aparținând comunității transatlantice, pe care România îl salută și îl susține. Rezultatele de astăzi confirmă astfel validitatea obiectivelor asumate cu succes la summitul de la București din 2018, a căror implementare a fost continuată și prin prezentul summit de la Sofia. România rămâne ferm angajată în inițiativa celor trei mări prin acțiune pragmatică și va susține pe mai departe soluții concrete în cadrul inițiativei care să contribuie la reducerea decalajelor și la consolidarea rezilienței în regiune în beneficiul prosperității cetățenilor noștri. În final, urez succes președintelui Levits în organizarea următorului summit. Vă mulțumesc!
Thank you, President Iohannis. And may I invite now for the closing remarks and statement the President of the Republic of Poland, Andrzej Duda. Mr. President.
Szanowni Panowie Prezydenci, Szanowni Państwo,
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen,
dostojni przybyli goście, wszyscy
all honorable
przyjaciele
guests, all friends
inicjatywy Trójmorza.
of the Three Seas Initiative.
Ogromnie się cieszę, że mogliśmy się
I'm really
spotkać
delighted that we have been able to
tutaj
meet
w Sofii
here
na
in Sofia
6. już
at the
szczycie
6th Three Seas
państw inicjatywy
Summit,
Trójmorza i po raz kolejny
and for another
bardzo
time
poważnie rozmawiać
we
o
have been able to
naszej
discuss very
integracji i
seriously and very
współpracy
in depth about our
przede
integration
wszystkim
and
w
our
rozwoju
cooperation, first and foremost
infrastrukturalnym, a
in
w efekcie
developing
także i w
our
rozwoju
infrastructure
gospodarczym,
and in
a
effect
w
also
efekcie,
in
co
developing our
dla mnie
economies.
ogromnie istotne,
And as a
działania,
result,
które
which
przyczyniają
is
się
hugely
do
important to me,
podwyższenia jakości
these
życia w naszych
activities are
krajach.
enhancing living standards for the
Bardzo
citizens in
serdecznie
our
dziękuję
countries.
panu
A very warm
prezydentowi
thank you to you, Mr.
Bulgarii,
President Rumen Radev, the President of Bulgaria, for organizing the
na bardzo
meeting
wysokim
at a
poziomie.
very high level indeed.
Świetne
The organization is excellent,
przewidzenie dla nas miejsc do
and
prowadzenia
you
obrad.
have found an excellent venue for us for this meeting. The conditions are really good, so we have been provided with everything that we need to work well. I'm even more delighted having said that last year in Estonia, the summit was very limited. Due to the coronavirus pandemic, that summit was not held under the normal format, under the usual scenario. So we worked by remote connections, but nevertheless, I was very happy and very proud to see this high level of determination among the heads of state and government of the Three Seas countries. We were able to meet, though the conditions were very difficult, though every one of us had very important issues connected with providing life and securing health and life to the citizens due to the pandemic. Today we met in a much better and more convenient formula. Over the last 2 days, we have discussed very thoroughly. We have been very optimistic, and I'm happy to see in all the Three Seas countries, in all the strategic partners of the Three Seas countries and friends of the Three Seas countries, as well as the guests, I can see optimism and the will to act for the sake of common development, looking from the perspective of the coronavirus pandemic, which I do hope is coming to an end. Let me say the following. In a sense, ladies and gentlemen, whenever we say that the cooperation should be strengthened among the countries, that the production chains should be shortened, supply chains as well, that we should reinstate production capacities back to Europe, so that Europe becomes once again a great factory to make Europe self-sufficient. Having said that, one can add that the Three Seas is an avant-garde today, because we started this kind of thinking, this kind of acting, before somebody even thought that the coronavirus pandemic could come upon us. Back then, we started to think about the development, looking at our situation within the European Union, understanding that when we went from the Iron Curtain, we lagged behind in our development, behind the countries of Western Europe. And then we understood we had to catch up as soon as possible in the development with Western Europe. And by doing that, we wanted to achieve a true cohesion within the the European Union. We wanted to provide exactly the same conditions everywhere, to live, to conduct business activity, to develop yourself. We understood that we had to tighten cooperation among our countries and to fill the gaps, as was said just a moment ago by the President of Romania, Mr. Klaus Iohannis. And we started to go down that path. We started to coordinate our efforts and discuss what more we needed. At the beginning, our Three Seas initiative was just starting. It was crawling, we can say, back in 2015. I remember the very first meeting back in New York in the margins of the United Nations General Assembly. And today it is fair to say that despite the coronavirus pandemic, it is flourishing. The presence of President Joe Biden yesterday and today the presence of one of his representatives during our deliberations. The statement of the representatives of the United States, the presence of the President of the Federal Republic of Germany at yesterday's business forum, and today the statement of the foreign minister, the statement of the representative of the government of Japan, of the government of France, all of that demonstrates that our partners, whose economies are great global economies, can see a huge potential in our cooperation, a potential which we have been saying is an objective potential, because Three Seas brings together 120 million inhabitants of the European Union. The Three Seas stands today for a large portion of the economic development of Europe, and it is the most dynamically developing economy. And perhaps this huge interest in the Three Seas shown by our partners is connected with the fact that we have got excellent forecasts developed by the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank. It is fair to say that because if the economic growth in the Three Seas forecast by those institutions is between 4 and 4.8% of GDP, and in my country, in Poland, it is supposed to reach more than 5% in 2021, then one has to say that if you look at these data and at what came upon us over the last 2 years is absolutely spectacular. And if the forecasts come true, if we are able to catch up with those prognoses, then we can say that our development dynamics is huge. It is not only continuing, but it is developing first and foremost, which is of huge importance. I'm happy that I think it is clear for everyone that the cooperation within the Three Seas, that tightening of links between our countries in the European Union, but also in our central part of Europe, brings tangible results for all our countries and for all our societies. And I do hope that in the next couple of years, even if somebody is not very much interested in politics, and even if they haven't heard much about the Three Seas initiative, I'm speaking about our citizens, I hope that those people will be able to enjoy new roads, thanks to which they will be able to travel in our part of Europe from the north to the south. They will be able to use new railway lines. And perhaps though they may not even know that thanks to the interconnectors which are being built and other gas connections, they are able to use the gas all the time. There were crises some time ago, but somehow those crises omitted them, because we have been able to secure gas deliveries and connections through our cooperation. I am delighted that we are going along this path, because I believe that this precisely contributes to our fast development and to the strengthening of our security, for example, energy security. Thank you to Mr. President of Bulgaria for working out together with all the member states of the Three Seas Initiative a common declaration, along with this very important piece saying that between the state which is currently in presidency and the country which is taking over the presidency, there will be a more close cooperation established to make sure that the next summit is well prepared, to make sure that throughout the whole year between the two successive summits of the Three Seas Initiative, one can take planned actions according to a concrete scenario, which we dubbed Vademecum, through the agenda or calendar of individual events, which is going to be developed in advance. This puts in order our cooperation, and I firmly believe that also for the future it will make us function even better, even more efficiently, that the summits will allow us also to take stock peacefully, one by one, according to the plan, everything that was decided in the preceding period, which was supposed to be implemented or which should have been implemented in a given year. I'm hugely delighted with all these elements, and my warm thank you once again to all of you, presidents, to the heads of governments, to the ministers for your participation in this meeting. I'm grateful to the President of Latvia, to Mr. Egils Levits. Thank you, sir, for accepting the presidency in the Three Seas Initiative for the next year. I do hope that we will be equally optimistic next year when we meet in 1 year's time in Riga or in any other place indicated by you, Mr. President, as the host. And once again, thank you, Mr. President Rumen Radev, for the excellent organization of our two-day-long meeting. Indeed, we had a very powerful representation of the business, not only from the Three Seas countries, but also from other states, the states who are friends with the Three Seas. We also had our strategic partners with us. I myself had a meeting with Polish business people yesterday, and they told me about very fruitful and interesting discussions they had. They were telling me about the prospective contracts they're about to conclude and the business contacts they have been able to establish. And they praised, Mr. President, this event and the organization of the event. It is my pleasure to convey these words to you. And once again, thank you so much to all the organizers, to you, Mr. President, to all the staff, to all the team of Mr. President, who made a huge work, and we were able to see it with our own eyes. Thank you to all of you, presidents, prime ministers, and ministers, for your participation in the summit. And I do hope that, as I said, we will be equally optimistic, and we will see each other in equally good mood in 1 year's time in Latvia. Thank you.
Dziękuję, panie prezydencie. With this, we will now open for questions from the accredited media representatives. The questions will be asked from microphones at both ends of the hall. Elena Savova, Bulgarian News Agency, Българска телеграфна агенция. Госпожо Savova.
Благодаря. Господа президенти,
Dear Presidents, hello. My question is, what will be the priorities during the chairmanship of Latvia of the initiative Three Seas?
Thank you for the question. We have spoken with President Radev about the next steps which should be done after Sofia meeting, because we are going, as President Duda said, step by step, meeting by meeting, summit by summit. And of course, the achievements till now in Sofia are very considerable. I think that we can base our Riga summit on the achievements of the previous summits, but we will stress the private investments, which is very important, because, of course, public investments and Three Seas Initiative Fund is very important tool for our initiative, but is not enough. It is by no way enough. And this would be one of our goals to make our region attractive for more investments, not only investments as such, but investments in specific infrastructure projects which are in the focus of our initiative. And I will also add that we have in this Sofia meeting learned that it would be also from beneficiary to involve to a certain way also the civic society, the public, especially the young people, also in order to promote the idea. As I said previously, a region geographically is always there, but a region which is in the mind of the people, this is an idea, and this idea of Three Seas initiative should be promoted and deepened also by participation of a wider public, especially young people. It could be, so to say, added value of our Riga summit next year, also to look concretely how to attract our region for private investments, how to strengthen the public Three Seas Initiative Fund, and also how to involve wider public in this idea of our region, to promote our region as a special part of Europe, as a special part of the European Union.
Jacqueline Skowronska, TVP Info, Polska.
Good morning, Presidents. I would like to ask my question to President Andrzej Duda. Mr. President, speaking about 2015, when it was precisely you, together with Madam President of Croatia, when both of you launched the Three Seas, it was still a project. Did you expect back then that this initiative would achieve such a high rank, such a high status? And how do you see the perspectives of future development of the Three Seas initiative to make sure that it is not only a big political project, which we have been discussing today, but to make sure that it is also a regional project and a local project? Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, well, of course, in 2015, when I first met back then as the freshly elected President of the Republic of Poland. That was exactly in September, when I met back then with the President of Croatia, Mrs. Kolinda Grabar-Kitarovic. We mainly talked about the energy cooperation. Madam President told me about the LNG terminal on the island of Kirk, which Croatia was planning to build. I informed her about our construction of the LNG terminal in Świnoujście, which was about to be completed, and we were discussing how to connect our gas grids to increase energy security of ourselves and of our part of Europe. And of course, none of us could have expected back then that this project would develop in such a remarkable way. But I can say something more. In 2016, when we first met at a bigger Three Seas summit in Dubrovnik, we were invited precisely by Madam President of Croatia, and this was mentioned today by Mr. Borut Pahor, the President of Slovenia, during his intervention at our meeting. None of us, as he said, could have expected that we are going to develop such tight cooperation which would attract the biggest economic powerhouses of this world. And indeed, this is not only a huge reason for satisfaction, but first and foremost, I would say that I draw one conclusion from that. There is a big hope. It makes me very hopeful that our part of Europe will develop in the future. It shows that it is not only our dream, it is not only our prediction that we will experience a dynamic development because we're able to tackle it as societies, as countries, but it makes me very hopeful because also our big partners who calculate every single euro and dollar, they are also able to see this huge potential, and they believe that this potential is going to translate into very concrete development elements, which as a result will generate very concrete economic results. And this precisely makes me very optimistic. It also fills me with great hope for the future, that we're going to achieve what I have just said, that we will realistically increase the living standards for the citizens of our countries, because I believe this is our biggest duty as presidents of the countries, as the ones who were entrusted on democratic principles the responsibility for the state matters, both internally as well as in terms of positioning the state in the international arena. So for me, this Three Seas cooperation constitutes also a major element of the development of the European Union. This is something I always stress, because in the beginning, there were voices which tried to say that this project was aimed at some kind of weakening of the European Union, of dividing the European Union. Well, that was a big misconception. Quite on the contrary, every single country of us receives EU funds as part of the cohesion policy. Why? In order to make Europe coherent as far as development is concerned, so that the representatives of business from France, from Spain, from Germany, so that they can also have better conditions to invest and to conduct their business activities, to pursue their transport activity, trade activity in the areas of our countries. Having said that, this contributes to the development of the entire European Union. This is the idea behind it. Through our development, we are also developing the European Union. By building our prosperity and wealth of our societies, by developing infrastructure links, we are at the same time developing the whole of Europe. And it's hard for me to give you a more positive example of European cooperation than this, what we are doing within the Three Seas initiative. So it's fair to say that I'm very optimistic in this respect. And once again, thank you, Presidents, for that.
Luisa Girada from TVA, the Romanian National Television.
Bună ziua, o întrebare pentru președintele Klaus Iohannis.
A question for Mr. Klaus Iohannis.
Dacă pe parcursul acestui summit au fost identificate noi surse de finanțare a proiectelor pentru realizarea lor, mai ales a proiectelor Via Carpatia și Rail to Sea, și dacă pe baza acestor finanțări să ne așteptăm la realizarea, la încheierea proiectelor mai repede și când anume, sau din contră la amânări legate de pandemie. Vă mulțumesc.
Este evident că realizarea fondului de investiții a fost un pas corect și potrivit. Așteptăm în continuare ca toată lumea, adică toate statele participante la inițiativă, să vină cu o contribuție pe care ne-o dorim cât se poate de mare. Însă trebuie să fim realiști, fondul singur nu va putea să finanțeze marile proiecte de infrastructură, de conectare. Și așa cum am subliniat și în plenul summitului și adineauri în declarația mea, cred că trebuie să dăm toată atenția acestor mari proiecte, fiindcă asta a fost ideea pentru care s-a creat inițiativa, de a realiza conexiuni de infrastructură, conexiune energetică, conexiune digitală pe axa nord-sud. Există vești îmbucurătoare, fondul crește și există deja investiții care se realizează, dar pentru aceste proiecte mari de infrastructură este nevoie de o abordare specială și ne vom ocupa pentru asta. E nevoie și de proiectarea propriu-zisă, dar este nevoie, cum e normal pentru astfel de proiecte mari de infrastructură, de a găsi un pachet de finanțare, care finanțare se va baza evident pe contribuții naționale. Noi credem că foarte importante vor fi contribuțiile europene, dar și alte contribuții care vor veni din diferite fonduri. Aceste lucruri vor fi discutate și concretizate în perioada următoare.
Вера Александрова, Българска национална телевизия, Bulgarian National TV.
Добър ден. Моят въпрос е към българския президент Румен Радев. Господин президент, приоритетите на българското председателство бяха образование, наука, иновации, а също така и географско разширяване на инициативата. Как оценявате след днешния форум, има ли сериозно развитие в тази посока? Това е първият ми въпрос. И вторият въпрос, според вас, от тук нататък инициативата Три морета в каква посока трябва да насочи вниманието си?
Мое дълбоко убеждение е, че каквито и финансови фондове и инструменти да прилагаме за социално-икономическо сближаване между източна и западна Европа, тази цел не може да бъде постигната, ако ние не търсим сближаване в науката и образованието. Защото науката и образованието са бъдещето. Без тяхното високо качество и ниво не може да има и конкурентоспособна икономика, съответно и висок
and as a result, no high standard of living can be achieved. That's why Bulgaria proposed this priority, to seek convergence and connectivity not only in infrastructure but in technologies, innovations, in science and education. That is why I'm happy that at this forum, over these 2 days, we have achieved an agreement on the building of partnership between the innovation agencies of our countries. I believe this is a very good sign, a very big sign for the future, a big sign for our young people, to be able to allow them to develop their potential in our countries. And during my talk with the President of Latvia, we shared our common concern that both countries, not only Bulgaria and Latvia, almost all countries in the region that are member states of this initiative, we face a big challenge of a demographic crisis. The most active young people are leaving our countries, and we must show them that they have a future in our countries by creating conditions for them to develop their potential in these countries. That is why this partnership network of these agencies from now on will cover our universities, our R&D centers, to enable them to work together, to set aside several priorities as tasks for our young people to work together and to conduct R&D in their framework. And this will be our contribution to their future. And this partnership has a potential to guarantee the development of our compatibility, competitiveness in the region, in line with European policies of the development of green economy and smart economy to achieve a high level of living for our citizens. As you know, and all colleagues have touched on this, our needs are huge and the resources are limited. To be efficient, we need to introduce smart solutions, innovative models, to make the best of these resources and to achieve quality development. An example, you know, in Bulgaria it is modern to talk about highways. I would like to see the same standards as quality, as price, as sustainability, as reliability and security in Bulgarian highways compared to what we see in Romania and Poland and Latvia and Austria. Why can't we work together to develop unified standards of quality and security? It's an important approach to create better conditions for our citizens. With respect to the expansion of the geographical coverage, yes, in this solution we proposed this, and I'm happy that the President of Greece was accepted as a ghost unanimously. In this vision, we are looking for new opportunities for the development of the initiative, with more openness, with more collaboration, with more activities and cooperation with our partners and neighbors. There is no logic for this initiative in which we're talking about connectivity as a priority to be limited by our southern border, having in mind that this border is crossed by very important energy, transport and digital pathways. Why can't we take advantage of the opportunities mutually beneficial because our neighbor Greece is a southern corridor, has two terminals for LNG and huge capacity of its ports and its huge capacity in information technologies. You know, Microsoft is planning an investment there in the amount of $1 billion for the creation of a huge database. So we're all interested in the development of this partnership. What do I see as the development of the initiative in the future? We have discussed our vision of this future among the heads of state and government. It's very important to be united, to show unity in the name of important priorities, in the name of important values, because only this can we achieve trust from investors, from close and faraway countries, from partners from all over the world. I would like to draw attention to yesterday's address by President Biden, who focused our attention on strengthening our democracies and efficient fight against corruption. This means that alongside infrastructure, we should be working to strengthen our rule of law, to strengthen more efficient methods of fight against corruption, to create conditions for a better, more freedom for the media, because where media is free, there is prosperity and much less levels of corruption. Where the media are limited, we have poverty, we have social inequality, we have high levels of corruption. This is our duty as heads of state and government, as who have participated in this summit, to think responsibly in this area, how to strengthen our democracies. The better conditions we create through connectivity in terms of quality of life and standard of life, this will create a trust and confidence in us in terms of strategic investments on behalf of our partners. And this is the foundation for the prosperity and security of our region. Thank you, Mr. President.
President Levits, President Duda, President Iohannis, President Radev. With this, the official press conference of the 3 Seas Summit has come to a close.